get started. Let me know you're here with me now. I'm not sure that this is working yet. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to Creative Companions, where we're all believing mirrors for one another. I'm Kim, I'm your creative guide. Today we're going to be discussing Polishing the Mirror by Ram Dass. We're on chapter 5. Chapter 5 is conscious living and conscious dying. We've been talking a lot about conscious living and how to do that and being here now. And this book is helping us learn that. We work with the Artist Way as well as our rule of thumb. We use the Artist Way, and we do that repeatedly here and talk about the things in the Artist Way. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I'm going to talk a minute about how our self-care went this week and all those wonderful things. We can right away just start breathing a little deeper. I am loving awareness here with you now. Creative Companions is this space where we believe in one another and love ourselves first, and therefore love one another and believe in one another's creativity. Creation through me inspires. Creation through me creates. It's good to be here with you now. I see you. Thank you for seeing me. Has some art behind me. This one is an original. Hasn't been shown much yet. I call it Human Nature. And this one is a print. Isn't it beautiful? It's a canvas. It's called Tree Woman. I got a whole bunch of new canvas prints for my samples, so looking forward to the next show and the next show and the next show. Okay, I will speak up a bit. Thanks for letting me know. I usually do talk louder. Actually, excuse me for one moment. I'm going to shut this door. So that I feel more comfortable to speak louder. Oh, put on your fun clothes. Look, I got on my kid clothes. All the colors, all the colors, all the colors. And, put on something you don't mind getting paint on so that we can just have fun. We don't have to be nervous. Can you hear me better now? I'll make sure I talk louder. So we're just going to take a few minutes here to get yourself together, get yourself something to drink, get comfortable where you are. I'm sitting on a pillow on the floor. That's how I like to do. For this art project for today, we're going to need an 8x10 or larger piece of cardboard. It is essential that we use cardboard today. I recommend that we use cardboard for our art projects every time. And teach our children to do so too, because there's way too much cardboard in the world, and this is a great way to make our cardboard into beautiful things. I'll just flash some by that we've made so far during this group. I really like to look at this one. It says, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving this awareness. This is one I made a long time ago, and I usually keep this with me. And these are all just made on cardboard. Cardboard, cardboard, cardboard. We did this one together in Polishing the Mirror. Yeah, so I'm going to read this one to you. So we'll need a piece of cardboard for this art project. So on this cardboard, I made this one time. It has one of my favorite quotes on it. And we're always talking about retraining our little brains. So this says, and this is by Brenda Euland. She says, why should we all use our creative power? Why should we all use our creative power? Because there is nothing that makes people so generous, joyful, lively, bold, compassionate, so indifferent to fighting and the accumulation of objects and money. The light get brighter as I read that. So why should we all use our creative power? Because there's nothing that makes us so generous, joyful, lively, bold, and compassionate, and at the same time so indifferent to fighting and the accumulation of things and money. Because it just brings us into the now, using our creative power. It just brings us into the here and now. So for today's project, back to that, we're going to need a nice piece of cardboard, flat piece of cardboard to use. we're going to need our paint supplies. And for today, we need blues. So we need blues, white, and yellow. Keeping it simple. So we're going to need blue, white, and yellow. Grab your brushes, a palette, or a separate piece of cardboard to squirt your paint on. Cardboard works great for that too. And a fine point pen or marker. I have a black one. You could use purple. You could use dark blue. A dark color is going to work best for this. Breathing in and out I am. Relaxing into the now I am. Breathe with me too, would ya? Long and deep. Consciously breathing. This is our meditation. I'm just bringing you right into meditation. So consciously breathing, consciously lengthening your breath, taking a nice long deep inhale in through your nose. Pause. Empty it out. A long, long exhale. Pause there, empty. Before you. Bring it back in. Just keep doing that. You can leave your eyes open for this meditation and just focus on the breath. Just inhale as deeply as you can and allow that inhale to lift you up. Allow the inhale to lift you up. I might have gotten too quiet again. And then the exhale to ground you down. And push that exhale out, 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 out. Pull your belly button in and push the air out. And empty, empty, empty. Perhaps you can smile as you breathe. Just let the corners of your mouth come up a little bit. It's 11:11. 11:11. All is well. This conscious breathing that we are doing brings conscious living. This conscious breathing that we're doing brings us into our bodies and into the now. Just relax and breathe and feel what it feels like. What does it feel like to be here now? You can clear your throat. You can giggle if you need to. You can wiggle. Just continue to breathe deeply in and out. If you are having thoughts, replace it perhaps with simply, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness, and the breath. And just continuing to breathe in and out. Perhaps you bring your hands over your heart space. Consciously breathing, I am. consciously breathing, heart beating. I am love now. Slowing down. Bring your hands to your knees or to your sides if you're standing. Continuing to breathe. Perhaps you add just a little stirring of the pot. And just moving in a circle, rotating. I'm speaking quiet again, but we're meditating. Breathing in and out. I am here in the now. Breathing in and out. I awaken my creative self. Remembering that as we meditate and we breathe in and out, the sounds that we hear in the other room perhaps only help us to relax more. As we meditate, we come more into ourselves and into our bodies, but also we become vast and aware and aware and aware and aware and aware without a care. Peaceful, easy feeling. In this now, we're going to create. We also meditate to come to the present moment, to be here with ourselves and this creative process. So here with me now. Here with me now. Hi. I'm glad you're here. I'm honored that you're here. I truly am. It's good to be here. I'm going to create together. Creative companions, we're believing mirrors for one another. I believe in you and I believe in your progress and your growth. We're all just growing and flowing. So let's go ahead and put some blue and white paint on our palettes and get ready to do our creative project. We do a creative project every week. Not to create a masterpiece, though perhaps we will. But to use that part of ourselves that just wants to play. It just wants to have a good day. Maybe has something to say. So, childlike. It may seem childlike, it may seem foolish, but it's connecting with a part of you that maybe you haven't talked to for a minute. And we don't have to be nervous. We're just going to have fun. That's the other reason we use cardboard too. One reason is if we had a nice white shiny canvas every time we sat down to create, we feel a little pressured. Maybe we spent money on that, and so we feel pressured to create a masterpiece. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to play. We're here to release that part of ourselves that does have a masterpiece in its mind and in dreams and goals, and we're activating that part of ourselves that can go towards them, that can move you towards them. By do these simple things and miraculous things will follow. That's what we're talking about. Can you all hear me okay now? Would somebody let me know? I think I'll move my camera a little closer to me so I don't have to talk so loud. So we make good stuff jars, and if you haven't made one yet, I encourage you to make a good stuff jar. In Creative Companions, we're talking about retraining our brains and to look for the good in ourselves first, and then in our experiences and in life and in others. And so daily, the goal is to put one little good stuff in here. Something today, at the end of the day, get your good stuff jar and write something. I just write it on a little piece of paper and put it in here. Something good that I saw or something good that happened today. Okay, while I'm talking, let me get you started here on our creative project. Where is my water? That is a good question. We will need water to dip our brushes in, so I might have to leave you here for a second. Oh, I see it. Just a sec. No hurry, no worry. I don't have to get nervous or feel like I'm messing up either on my end. You can hear me now? Good. Thank you, Donna, for letting me know. All right, so first we're just going to, with the quickness, cover our cardboard with our blue and white. Um, Noticing first that there's corrugation in your cardboard. See that? You want that corrugation to go so that those lines would run this way. Do you see? Not this way. This way. Got me? Okay, so aim for that. If you don't, it's okay. So I'm just wetting my brush. I'm grabbing the biggest brush that I have, and I'm just going to put it in some both color. I put 2 tones of blue on my palette and some white. So I'm just going to glob a little of each of those on here, and then I'm just going to do this, and with the quickness, just cover this. All we're doing is covering it with the blue. Now, on cardboard, you can add some water to help that paint move around, but hesitate to use too much water because then it's going to soak into the cardboard and take it a long time to dry. And we want to be able to move on to the next step. So be aware, be conscious of how much water that you use at this point. So in Creative Companions, we use some creative tools on the regular, and I do a weekly check-in. So for that weekly check-in, we ask ourselves, how did we do with our self-care this week? How do we do taking care of ourselves? Did we meet our needs, or did we only meet other people's needs? These are good questions to ask yourself once a week. So ask yourself that now. How did I do with my self-care? Did I get lost? I got lost a couple times. I forgot what the goal was. And for me, what's the goal? To simply be here now, to be in the present moment, every moment. And if I get wrapped up in worrying about things and others and the past, the future, thinking about all that, then I'm not in this moment. And in this moment, this is where the magic happens. This is where it's real. So how do we do with that? Then we talk about our basic tools that we use for Creative Companions. And one is the morning pages. 3 pages of brain drain in your journal. It's a conversation you're having with yourself, and we're learning to change that conversation if we've been a negative Nelly with ourselves, or if we've been self-abusing with our thoughts and not being nice to ourselves. So we're learning to change that up and use some positive affirmations in our journals. Our basic affirmation that we start out with is simply treating myself as a precious object makes it so. Maybe you write that 3 times, you know. We're talking about using the magic available to us, and what do we believe magic to be? Well, we're also thinking about those things, and what do we believe, and who are we, and what do we think? And so that's what our journal's for, and I find it a blast. And I say there is nothing more interesting that you'll do in your life than observe yourself and know yourself. You're ever changing, you're ever growing. You're the only person, you're going to know you longer than you know anybody, you know? So, yeah. Stick with yourself. So there, I got that covered with the blue. The other basic tool is the artist date, which is taking your artist self, your child self, out to play once a week for an hour. Recommended that you do that all by yourself. Oh, Donna only has Canvas. So if you only have Canvas, just go ahead and you'll make it work. You'll see. It's all right. Everything's fine. And, you know, and part of our point of Creative Companions is we make the art whether we have the right perfect things or not. Earth Art from the Heart makes art from things she finds in her environment. Check it out. Earth Art from the Heart on Facebook. Beautiful stuff. So, and that's part of my point. You know, tie one hand behind my back or work with my left hand one day just to challenge myself and see what different comes through this channel when I don't have the perfect tools. And we often wait to do our creative thing that we have in our mind until we have the perfect tools. And that's artist abuse, to make your artist wait like that. How patient do you have to be, really? So to just be able to play every day and have a piece of cardboard. And if you have children at home, do this with them. You know, they like to play. They'll teach you. For real. So an artist date is taking your child self out to play. And that could be blowing bubbles and hula hooping at the same time. I did that one time. That was really fun. And flying a kite, taking a bubble bath, going for a walk. Going for a walk is one I suggest daily. And Julia Cameron does too. And I've been practicing the daily walk. And slowing down. Slowing down is a practice. So consciously breathing while we do the things that we do for our self-care helps us to slow down and be aware of the nurturing that we're receiving from ourselves as well as the nurturing that we're giving to ourselves. So gratitude. So be grateful in this moment that here you are now, giving yourself the gift of this hour and this creative time to make something that only you can make, because there's only one of you. And the way you do is based on who you are and your unique experiences. So you can only do it the way you do, which is one thing I really love about the Creative Companions group. Though we all do the same project every week, everyone's results are unique and different. And I love that. It's so amazing. So we're going to just continue to let this dry for just a second. So be fearless in play. Be here now. Be loving awareness in this moment. If you find yourself drifting off or your sensor starts to talk to you about the art that you're creating, criticizing, or whatever, return to the breath. Just return to the breath. Turn your corners up. Silence this and just breathe. And just breathe and just breathe. So Ram Dass, Polishing the Mirror. Chapter 5. Conscious living and conscious dying. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. We're doing it at the same time. Right? If we believe that death is a given, living things die, then the whole time we're living, we're dying. We're moving towards it. Right? Life's for the living. So we're learning to live it. And we're learning to be here now. Okay, let me read to you some. Well, actually, before I read to you some, let me get you started on the next part of this painting. So on your palette, if you still have blue, white, and that's all we had, right? Blue and white. Add some more if you need to. So I'm going to add some more white to my palette here. And then we're also going to add some yellow this time. So we have blue, white, and yellow. And what we're going to do is just grab randomly whatever brush of whatever size. I'll take this one. I didn't grab one this big. And just watch for a second, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Well, first, let's see. I'm going to have that be the top and the dark at the bottom. So decide what's your top, what's your bottom there. And I'm going to start with a little yellow and a little white on my brush. You know, I don't usually mix the paint too much. I just put it on the brush. And let's start here. Can you see? All right, let me get closer. All right, you'll be able to see that now. So I'm going to go like this. I bet you can guess what I'm doing. We're going to make fish shapes. Okay? Make as many fish shapes as you want while I talk. Make a lot of fish shapes. You can make big fish. And only make the shape and color it in. Let's not add details. We could add something like, as long as it's just the shape, you know. So if we're adding something to the shape, like a fin, see? So, and your fish can be whatever color you want. I'm just going to use a combination of the colors that I have there and add, ooh, look at that one. You can make long fish, skinny fish, fat fish. So just have fun. Have fun and make a bunch of fish while I talk to you about conscious living and conscious dying. I'm going to read to you now Aging gives us a chance to learn to use the shadows in our life as vehicles for our awakening. How you relate to death is the key spiritual work of aging. How you see death is a function of how much you identify with that which dies. The ego dies, the soul doesn't. So I encourage you to make peace with death, to see it as a culminating event of this adventure called life. It's not an error or a failure. For some of us, the subject of death is easy to talk about, and for some of us, it's a little threatening and frightening. I say, and this is me, Kim, talking, so I watched a movie called The Man from Earth, and I highly recommend it. The conversation is about what if we could live forever in this physical body? What if the notion that this meat suit has to die is a lie too? I like to explore that notion. Just like you can think yourself unwell, and we've talked about, I believe we also can think ourselves well. I'm in perfect health at all times. I'm in perfect health spiritually, mentally, and physically at all times. I welcome no disease. So, dealing with the fear. I'm reading here from Ram Dass again. For many of us, the thought of death, thinking of when we or someone we love is going to die, keeps us from being in the here and now. When will we die? How will we die? What will happen after we die? What will happen to our loved ones? What about all the things we hope to accomplish? These deep fears and anxieties about our survival keep us from living fully in the present moment. So, the less I seek, the closer I am to find. Living in the moment in awe of all that is with the eyes of a child in the now. You know, what if life is not a puzzle to be solved, but an adventure to be lived? If we're puzzling and trying to solve the puzzle, it also says next that fear, death scares the hell out of you, out of who you think you are, out of your ego, especially if you think you are this body. So being around death forces you to open a deeper part of yourself. I'm reading again. The shadow, especially the shadow of death, is the greatest teacher of how to come on into the light. The fear of death is an anticipatory fear. When you are fully in the present moment, there is no anticipatory fear, no anxiety, because you're just here now. You're not in the future. You're just here now. You're just painting fish. You just keep swimming. When we are resting in our souls, death is just closing a chapter in a book, going in the other room. Next, he talks about dealing with pain. We are not our bodies, but when our bodies experience pain, that's difficult to remember. That's one reason it's important to do a spiritual practice, a breathing practice when we are healthy, so that we can use those practices when we are not. For example, I was with Gina once, my yogini, and I said, my foot's asleep, my foot's asleep. I'm struggling with the fact that my foot's asleep. And she said, oh, well, simply notice. You don't have to focus on it. Just notice. Well, that shifted everything then. Then I could just notice, whoa, that feels weird that my foot's asleep. It's a tingling sensation. I could talk about the feeling as separate from me. It was my body that was doing that. Yeah. So I got to get my glasses back on without my page closing. So yeah. When you're fully present in the moment, oh, wait. Physical pain. I skipped where I was just a second. We are not our bodies, but when our bodies experience pain, that's difficult to remember. Physical pain or emotional pain is a thought as well as a sensation. In working with pain, you witness those thoughts and feelings and don't identify them with them. You're not your pain. The pain's in your body or your mind or both. Usually they both go together. So you try to be present with yourself. And it isn't easy. Pain sucks. Yeah. Truly relieving the mental and emotional side of pain, your own or anyone else's, depends on maintaining your center and not identifying with the painful sensations, thoughts, emotions. So pain is actually made worse by the fear of pain. So when working with pain, give it space. Just allow it to be. And know that your awareness of the pain is separate from the pain itself. This goes for heartache too. Emotional pain. Can we just look at it and open to what is, acknowledge it, give it space, allow it to be? The pain is there, and you are too. So this next, it talks about a woman who was dying of cancer. She was in extreme pain, bored she was with dying. I invited her to try being here now, and we did a little practice to bring her into the moment. And she became very present. Coming fully into the moment took her out of time and space. This is important in life, and even more so when someone is dying. The soul is independent of time and space. So in a meditative environment, she was able to move beyond the pain and experience deep peace. So imagine that we can learn to do that while we're healthy, while we're here, in the now. We're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it, everybody. You're doing the thing, and you're breathing in and out. To move gracefully through this life, to be present and move gracefully through this life and through the whole process, which includes dying. Making peace with your feelings about death is the prerequisite for living joyfully here and now. The journey of consciousness is about arriving at a balance in life where you are open to the mystery of it all. So you come with an open mind and, and accepting, like, there's so much that I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But I have an open mind, and I show up. And just showing up every day and being present and in awe of what you see that day and what you're shown and what you might create. And that's what's fun, to show up for yourself creatively as a practice on the daily and surprise your little self. You don't know what you have yet to create. And the only way to find out is to show up. Show up, show up, show up. Yeah, it says, live in what may serve you is faith. Not faith in something outside. I mean, living in faith. It is faith in the sense that I live in absolute wonder in the presence of the great mystery. I like that. So in absolute awe and wonder. All right. Oh, I keep cutting out. Okay, I'll lean in closer. It's probably because I back up. So just keep making fish there. As you extricate yourself from a rigid identification with the body, with your personality and mind, you begin to be spacious enough to allow death to be part of the process of life rather than the end of existence. As we live on, we live on in the memories of people who know us, and because we all have been for all time, Krishna says, and we shall be for all time, we all are forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever. I like that thought. Some of us have people that very close to us has gone on, and as you know, we think of them daily, we hear their voice, the wisdom that they shared with us continues on. Now it says interrupted. Can you all hear me now? Somebody let me know. I'm just talking to myself. I'm going to paint some fish. How are your fish coming? So I'm going to paint a few more fish and wait a few minutes. If someone could please let me know if you can see me and hear me anymore. This has been a rough chapter to get through. You know, as it said at the beginning, talking about this topic of death is not fun for me. This is not a chapter that I've looked forward to. So I hope it's getting through loud and clear and I don't have to redo it again. But in the meantime, just cover with fish. As far as I can tell, it is still going. So I'm going to keep talking. You can create your universe anywhere you are. You can create, okay, good. You can create your own universe every day. You wake up and decide with the thoughts that you think. Now he's talking about being with someone who is dying. And I have no right to define how another person should die. This is a wonderful time to just practice being loving awareness. Practicing the art of listening. All you have to give is your own being. Before I read this, I just want to say, as far as this part, this is not just being with someone who is dying. This is being with someone, being with your friends. Be there with them. Or just think of this paragraph I'm going to read to you as being there with your fine self, even. Or being there with your loved ones, or being there with the creative process. All you have to give is your own being. Be honest. Meditate and become aware that the pain or confusion is, and here we are, in quiet equanimity. We all have limits of tolerance. Stay as clear and conscious as possible. Open to the unexpected. Open and stay centered. If you remain centered, your calm presence helps to free all of those around you. Go inside yourself to that quiet place where you are wisdom. Wisdom has in it compassion. Compassion understands about life and death. The answer to dying is to be present in the moment. To learn to die is to learn how to live. And the way you do that is by living each moment. This one. Now this one. Just being here now. Just being here now. Live your life consciously and fully. Learn to be present with yourself. I'm going to show you the next step. You can continue painting fish. You can make different colored fish. You can come back and do some of what I'm going to show you next. I'm going to just make a couple more fish. I just keep seeing this really big round fish right here that needs to be seen. I'm going to put some more white on this one and really make it stand out. Painting's so fun. And that's another thing, like when we're doing our good stuff jar too. Besides like one good thing that we saw or happened every day. What about like scheduling fun into your day? Every day. We talk about the artist date once a week. What if you scheduled fun every day, every day? Kids like that. It's good to have fun. Your artist likes it. Look at this fat fish. There's a big fat fish. So you can continue making fish with the paint, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do with our pointy marker. And actually, I have, there. So let me come closer. So we're going to just give our fishes personalities, add features, and decorate your fish, if you will. Give them fins and eyes and mouths and scales, and just decorate them with this pointy marker. It's good to have fun, but you gotta know how. Everything takes practice. It's good to have creative companions to have fun with. Today's gonna be a most spectacular day. Come on, my fish friends, come on along. Join in the magic, join in the song. Make today a most spectacular day. Your artist does not want you to hurry up. I don't know if this marker is gonna work. If I have another one. I have a fatter one. Let's see if it works. It does. So yeah, just give your fish some cute little personalities. Fins and scales and keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. There's my first little fish coming together. Isn't he cute? So yeah, just do that. And you can add as many fish as you like. This is going to be a cardboard piece of art that we're going to bring back next week to work on too. So for now, until next week, just add as many fish as you want to and decorate them. Yeah. And you can use different color markers if you want, or just black is fine as far as that goes. So give your fishes some character now as we wrap up this chapter, chapter 5. Let's see. If you practice being here now, being fully in the moment during your life, if you are living in that space, then the moment of death is just another moment. You have to let go of your individuality, your name, your history, your friends, your cat, your body. The letting go is meeting the infinite. This is a little poem I'm going to read now. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. Every breath is the first and the last. A conscious being holds on nowhere. We're just moving through. So when you lose someone, you will grieve and grow through all of the emotional responses, the anger, all of it. And again, I'm reading from Polishing the Mirror. Then there will come a moment when all of a sudden you awaken to the fact that the love that you shared with that person is still here. Maybe you will be watching a sunset or just sitting quietly. At that moment, you will let go and recognize that you feel enriched by everybody that you have loved, instead of deprived by the loss of their form. You realize they continue to live in your heart. Everybody you have ever loved is part of the fabric of your being. And that is where grief gets transformed into a living, loving space. You might hear people say after he died, he was everywhere. So death is a reminder to live fully, to live life fully. We don't know when it ends. In the eternal present of the moment, you're free of time. If death is the moment, then that's the moment. When you're in the place of openness, it's all possible. Go lightly, go with grace toward the one. One dies as one lives. The game is to be where you are, honestly, consciously, and as fully as you know how. So love, serve, and remember. Part of your relationship with yourself is taking responsibility for the care of your body and doing things to promote good health. Honor your body and take care of it. You know, the breathing and getting good oxygen into our body is helpful. As you quiet your mind, you begin to see the different components of your being and which ones are out of harmony. For example, at times you can feel that your body is pulling on you, draining your energy, or the muscles need strengthening or relaxing. Remembering that your body is the temple of your spirit, of who you are, work with it, doing things that release or balance energy. Also be mindful of what you put into it. A wise man once said to me too, don't cut into it. Leave it alone, leave it be, honor it. Much of the spiritual work is just slowing down and left to let our minds come into harmony with our hearts. Being here now is experiential. When you're in the moment, time slows down. Take some deep breaths. You know, whatever you're doing, when you feel yourself and you feel yourself getting racy and rushy and rushing through things, and you can stop at any moment and consciously take 3 conscious deep breaths and reset yourself. And slow down. Take your time with yourself. We don't have to be anxious. We're just here to have fun, be unaware of the time. Live today like only love matters and time isn't real. In this moment, you have all the time in the world, but don't waste a moment. Who you really are is beyond time. When you're really in the moment, that's all there is. So the moment of death will just be another moment in this story of you. And that brings us to the end of chapter 5. Chapter 6 is called From Suffering to Grace. We mentioned grace a little bit, you know, being kind to ourselves. Yes, I believe in the good things coming. It's a beautiful life looking through these eyes. Thanks for being here with me. Listen to me talk about living and dying and making these fishes. So this is one I have done before. And like I said, you can put just as many fish on here as you like. You might even grab a smaller brush and make some tiny fish. I think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to make just some really small ones because I like really tedious too. Oh, look at that little fish. Give him some little fins. He's going. Give him some friends. They travel in little schools, you know. So I encourage you to just have fun with this cardboard. Take a picture of it when you finish putting your fish on. And maybe this is one you'll work on a little bit as the week goes on. And we'll bring it back next week and continue it. So what I'd like it to look like next week is like that. All your fish have all their little characters and they're all decorated and looking all cute. I love it. Individuals. You know, and don't think about it too much. Just have fun. I hope everybody has a good week. We will see you back here next week. I encourage you to write in your journals this week and go on an artist date. Pay attention to what conversation you're having with yourself. Keep your thoughts kind. Be good to you. Love yourself more and more and more and more. I appreciate you for being here. I'm Kim. You can find my Art by Kim Keffer, at Art by Kim Keffer. Check me out. See what I'm up to, what I'm making next. I believe in you. Peace out.